Welcome back to Behind the Glass. I'm Shakiyah Monet, and here with me is the one, the only, the queen, the fabulous, amazing human being that I love so much. Yes, so y'all heard her in the very first episode. We talked about confidence. Like, do you feel like you're feeling more confident?
Yeah, I kind of feel like the thing about when you look at each other through lenses, we all kind of like put a filter on ourselves. And sometimes our internal voice and internal monologue is not so kind. And when you try and look at each other with someone else's eyes, you can kind of see things you didn't really notice. So it's like when Shakira first asked me to talk about confidence, I'm like, confidence? But it's like, yeah, what? I do have a lot of confidence. And I've been feeling that more and kind of embodying it more because whenever we look at ourselves from that other view, we get a more accurate picture because we look for our weaknesses, we don't look for our strengths.
No, that's so true. And that's exactly what we're talking about today. Strength. But yeah, like I know the first episode obviously meant so much to me because it was my very first one, but also like you know how much I loved you. Like that could be a whole nother episode. But also everyone else loved you. Like I put the first episode out and literally everyone was like, who is this Sheila? I want to meet Sheila. I want to like talk to her. So you've given like so many other people confidence. So again, thank you so much for being on. And yeah, this is just a treat for your fans out there to have you.
Well, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak and just always being there for me. I kind of am loving seeing you grow, like seeing this happening for you. And I appreciate you inviting me back. And I appreciate everyone who's listening. And thank you for that.
Yay, thank you. So, like we said, we're talking about strength and how we start every episode. What is strength?
Okay, so strength. That really depends on who you ask, I think. For me, there's different phases of my life where I've thought of strength as different things. At this point in my life, I see strength as adaptability, resilience, and being that person when something is happening, going, okay, look at the room. No one else is doing it. I got this. And that's kind of strength to me. Strength is being the one who's willing to step into the space and be like, okay, I'm going to do it. Because often we all have strength. And I really believe strength is something everyone can develop. And even if you think about physical strength and the more stereotypical versions of strength, it's something that you work, it's a muscle. It's so the question can be like, do you naturally have strength or did you learn strength through every time you pushed your boundaries? Because whenever we step out of the limits we place around ourselves, we are becoming a little bit stronger. We are increasing that muscle. And then when people are having a hard time, you can kind of look at yourself, you look at the room, what's happening? Is anyone going to do something? Have I done this before? Do I know I can do it? No, but you know what? No one else is doing it, so let's get it done. And that's kind of strength to me, the adaptability, the willingness to pivot in a crisis or even just in a moment when it's tense. That willingness to step forward when other people aren't yet. I think that's what strength is.
No, I love that definition because, like you just said, anybody can be strong. Everybody has strength, but I don't think we maybe sometimes are put in like the circumstances to show off our strength.
Yeah.
And then maybe other people will like perceive us as weak, but it's like, no, you haven't given me a chance to like,
Well, and that's the thing. I think it's like when you even think of like the stereotypical view of strength, it's a muscle. If you're building muscles to be a strong person to do things fitness wise, it's something you work on. And for that mindset too, to be strong in a situation, it's giving yourself an opportunity. It's like testing that limit you have and who's willing to do that. So there are people who you look at and they naturally seem strong because they've often tested their limits. So they are willing to step up. And even if they don't know if they can do it, they're going to try. And I think that's what strength is. There's an element of bravery in strength because to step out of what you're doing when you see something is needed, that is bravery. Because if you don't know you're going to be able to do it, that's being brave. But it's also being strong because strength is the willingness to adapt and grow. I think like to be stubborn is to be void of strength because you're never adapting. A stubborn person is rigid. And when you think about like even that saying about a branch when it bends and it doesn't break, it's because it's flexible. Strength is flexibility. Whereas if you're rigid and you're stubborn, you're going to snap, you're going to break, you're not going to have the strength you need. And I think when you look at strength in a whole, that really kind of like puts it for all people. Everyone has the ability to be flexible, to adapt, to pivot, to learn, to grow. And it's, are you willing to be the flexible one today? Or are you going to lean on someone else who is flexible?
Ooh, that was really good.
Thank
I'm
you.
still like digesting because I do know some people who I would classify as stubborn. And like just thinking about it, I'm like, wow, I think they're stubborn because maybe they're afraid. You just said like,
Yes.
strength is being brave and like just going for it, even if you don't know like what's gonna happen. And yeah, I imagine like you just because I've been there where you're really scared because you don't know what's gonna happen and you think the worst is gonna happen. But I think you also have to like just trust yourself to know you're gonna figure it out. Cause yeah, that's like half the battle, right? Showing up.
Yeah, definitely. Because in the moment, anyone could do it. If there's something that needs to be done, anyone could be the one to run out and do that thing. But it's the person who goes and looks and acts quickly because they've tested their limits before. They don't hesitate. They do it because they have a sense, oh, I've been here before, something like this. I can do it today too.
I like that because again, even if you felt weak in one moment, you can be strong in the next. But are we talking about like mental strength versus physical? Like, are they the same? Are they different?
Well, I think we kind of touched a little bit about that. Like, if you think about strength as a muscle you have to develop, there's physical strength. You have to work on that as a discipline. I feel like mental strength, very much the same thing. Like the question is, are we born with this core of strength or do we adapt it as we grow? Because unless we watch someone from childhood and study it, we'd never really know if they were born strong or if they learned it through trial and error and just rising to the occasion. And I think the same thing with physical strength. You won't know how strong you are if you don't test your limits. And I think they both kind of can be looked at in the same lens, but very separately at the same time.
Yeah, because unfortunately, I feel like a lot of people will say someone is quote unquote strong after they've been through a lot, or like once they kind of, I don't want to say like trauma dump, but like once they explain
Well,
everything that they've been through. Is that even a compliment?
I think yes and no, because the thing is, I think people don't recognize strength in other people unless it's being tested. Because we can be strong every day and no one knows what's going on in our life. But the second a light is shone on us and they see you do something strong, it's like, wow, that's
Mhm.
really strong. And it's not because people are not knowing or taking it for granted in other moments. It's simply that they don't see it because we're all busy. We're all living our lives and we can't know what everyone else is doing. So until a traumatic event happens, we're not looking at it. Someone could be strong every day, but we don't see it until something big happens and we're like, wow, they just got us through that. Like, I didn't know they could do that. I couldn't have done that that minute. And it's seeing their resilience in the moment. So someone could be resilient all the time, but we just don't see it because it didn't impact us. And it's not to say that it wasn't there before that. It's just that the compliment comes from when you shelter someone from a storm, when you pull someone through something difficult, they have gratitude. It also inspires someone because often when we see someone be strong and we see them do something and we think, I thought about it for a second, but I hesitated and then they would did it. Because
Mhm.
how often have we been through something where we were about to do something and then someone else just does it? And it's like, we had that strength too, but we didn't see it in ourselves. So if we look at someone else, we can be inspired to flex our strength, to test our limits, to grow. And again, it goes back to that rigidity, the stubbornness, the opening up. I think strength is really the openness to grow and adaptability. And even if you think about animals, species that adapt, they succeed. Species that don't adapt, they fail. And that's a strength too.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And like, I'm just, everything's clicking in my brain right now because I think before I used to see people who were stubborn and I would say like they were prideful. And again, I thought that that was like a compliment or I thought they were strong because that's like how you want to be like strong, meaning unmovable. But you already talked about like the branch and the tree. Like, why don't you want to like just go with the wind and move? Like, honestly, are y'all having fun being rigid? Honestly, like it's okay. Like you can let us know. And I think there's like strength in being vulnerable, right?
Definitely. I think vulnerability and gentleness and opening up takes real strength because you don't know how people are going to perceive things you do and say and actions you take. And being willing to open yourself shows real strength because a lot of people would never allow that. And
Mm.
it's like when you think about vulnerability, like people will say, like one of the questions was weakness and vulnerability. I don't think those are the same things because I think weakness is when you fail to grow. If you are vulnerable, but you're unwilling to see your vulnerabilities and grow from them, that is a weakness. But if you're opening up your vulnerabilities to safe people that you trust, and they're going to help you grow, they're going to inspire you, or they're just going to validate what you feel and let you know it's okay to be vulnerable, that often after you showcase any of that and express yourself, you feel stronger than you've ever felt before.
Mm. Yeah, I do. Cause I feel very, like, strong after I record an episode. I'm like, "Oh, I did that." Like, again sorry, just gonna brag about myself.
You should.
But thank you. But, yeah, because it was, like, very intimidating kind of, like, going to people like, "Hi, will you be on my podcast?" Especially in the 1st season. So, again, thank you. Cause like
Well, thanks for having me.
oh, well, cause I didn't have anything. So, it was like,
That's okay.
you just kinda trusted me and was like, "Yeah," like, I don't know if you saw the vision, but you just believed in me and having to put it together. So that's very like, I just get afraid that, they're going to say no and I'm going to look stupid or whatever. But
You've
yeah,
never looked stupid. If someone says no, it could be a few things. They maybe don't want to be vulnerable. They don't want people to see them in a light that they're not actually curating a filter for themselves.
yeah,
They don't want to show vulnerability. So that could be a rigidness on their part, but it also could be schedule.
yeah,
It could be that they don't have time. But beyond that, it can also just be that they don't feel comfortable expressing themselves. Not everybody is comfortable talking. Some people are shy, and that's completely reasonable because in this day and age, like people take things out of context all the time and things can be twisted, and anything you say can be put in a way that you didn't mean it to
yeah.
be.
So don't take this and like, mess it. I said what I said and make sure I said it right. Okay. Thank you. Back to our programming.
Well, we're all human too, so we're all going to make mistakes at times. And I think being willing to accept that we're all human, so we're not going to be perfect. We're going to say the wrong thing some days. Some days we're going to be late, like today. Sorry. Some days it's just going to be like that. And again, it can be strong to when you're having an off day, still run with it and see where you end up because you could just go, oh my gosh, today was horrible. I'm staying home. I'm not leaving. And then you can cancel on someone and things can kind of like exactly. But it's strong to be like, you know what? I screwed up. I own it. I'm going to keep going. Hopefully, the person understands I'm a human and forgives it. And I think that goes to vulnerability as well, because we all have our soft spots and our things that we are really good at. And for me, timing is one of my poor things. I have ADHD. So I have this thing called time blindness. Even going to my physio appointments, I think it takes 5 minutes to go, but I track the time it takes me to get there, and it's like 8 to 9 minutes, which is somehow the same time from here to the train, which feels like way longer in my head, but I can't
It's
tell.
hard. Yeah.
I
No,
can't see time.
I'm always like 5 minutes late. Sorry. Like well, I mean, we're fabulous. So it takes time to get ready. But no, I understand. And then because I love that you're talking about being vulnerable and having strength and being able to kind of move and adapt. But again, with people who maybe are more rigid, I do like my heart goes out to you because I can only imagine maybe you got that way after some trauma. So like
That's true too. And some people are just naturally rigid. Like they could be like when you're young, when you think about kids, they're going to have a point of view. I have some friends who have children, and their kids' point of views are very like, this is the way it is because this is what I think it is. And then as you grow and learn, you become more flexible. And I think for some people, maybe they don't expand and test their limits and try different points of view. So I think you're right. Some people will become rigid through trauma because maybe the way they got through a situation was they put up a wall, they froze, they protected themselves, and then they keep that wall. And that is their way of making sure they don't crack and break. They need the wall. So stubbornness is, in my opinion, a weakness, but it doesn't mean that it happened because the person is weak. It could be that's what they need to get through it. Because being flexible is all about kind of dancing outside the box and seeing what happens. It can be really intimidating to go outside of your comfort zone. And it's like, I think sometimes we have this like inert need to do something. Like when we see someone in trouble, there are people who just automatically, their brain flips and they go into action. And I think, I don't know if that is tested strength through being in situations where they acted in the past, or or if it's just something in them that triggers, oh, nothing's happening. I better do something right now, or something bad is going to happen.
It's very interesting, but what I'm taking from all of this is no matter where you are, like naturally, you can always learn and you can
Yes.
always do better. But I guess my question is kind of like, when do you know when you need to put your walls up and when can you like be open? Because
That is a skill we have to curate because it's easy to say we don't need walls or we need really high walls all the time. But the fact is, there's an ebb and flow to it, and it depends on the people you're with because there are people who are predatory, and that's just a fact. It's unfortunate, but it's the truth, and it's kind of human nature. There's always been people who they will look in a room and they will look for something. And sometimes it's going to be the person who they see as weak as their target. Sometimes they're going to want to challenge the person they see as strong. Sometimes they're going to want to pull down the person who's shining in that moment. It really depends on the person in the room, but knowing who you're with and learning to discern who has your like interests at heart or who's just like a kind person. Like we have to know people before we open up to them. Like that's just the way it is in our society. Like there'll be people who sometimes will talk to me and they'll talk about exchanges they've had with people where they were really uncomfortable. But I'm like, why did you continue talking to them? Because they're not entitled to your time. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to defend that. And it's like they want to because they want to give people like the reciprocation of communication. But in a situation, especially as a woman, sometimes you have to just shut it down. You have to be like, look, this is not a conversation I want to have.
mm,
And knowing who you can open up to is really important.
yeah, I think that's when you just have to like trust.
Your gut
Yeah,
and your
the gut.
intuition. This is something I learned when I was young. My intuition has never failed me. I've ignored my intuition on several occasions though. And
You gotta listen to I don't think I knew it was like no, I don't know. I think I got like gaslit into like not understanding or like being one with myself or trusting my intuition.
society challenges us. And I think that happens around puberty, honestly. We start to question ourselves. And it's because if you, I was even one of the questions we talked a little bit about, like when we develop strength. And I think when we're young, depending on who we are, we either have some or we don't, or we build it through what we go through. I lost my perception of being strong in puberty because all of a sudden anything wasn't about me being tall or fast or strong, like physically. It was about pointed words targeting things that hurt my soul. And that can make us not trust ourselves. I think we have this beautiful pure state when we're young where we just know what we need to do. And then there is when society kind of puts its boxes around us and says, no, you got to fit this cookie cutter and this is how you have to be. Or if you're outside of that, someone is going to go for your jugular a little bit emotionally. And there is a resilience in learning not to hear the noise.
Yeah, and because I think no matter what box anybody puts you in, you can always break through.
Definitely.
I feel like I'm doing that. And again, I'm gonna shout you out because even on the podcast, I'd be like, oh, I'm so sensitive. This one right here was like, you're not. I think people are just saying that to gaslight you. And it was just like,
Your feelings are very valid. When you would share the circumstances, what was happening, your reaction was completely fair. And the thing is, they should want to hear how they make you feel. Someone who automatically shuts down that something hurt you does not have your best intentions at heart. Because anyone who cares about other people, we're not wanting to, we might hurt people. I'm sure I've hurt lots of people in my life. But if they tell me I hurt them, I'm going to look at what I've said and done. I'm going to dissect what I've said and done. I'm going to find what I did so I can avoid that happening again because I respect the other person in the room. And when you respect someone, you're not going to go, oh, that's just being sensitive. Because if something hurts or stings, it's not sensitive. It is your reaction, and your reaction is valid. And especially in this day and age, so often people try and tell us what we think and feel is not appropriate or not right. It's like you don't get to choose how someone else feels because of what you said. Like what you said, it might not have come out the way you wanted to. I know for a fact I put my foot in my mouth more than times than I can count. But if you tell me I said something and it hurt you, I'm going to think about what I said. Think about maybe the tone I had. Was I tired? Was I rushing? Was I short? Like, what was going on with me that I might have pushed out? And did I choose my words appropriately? Could I have worded it better? Like, these are things where I want to do better if I screw up. So when you would tell me that someone had done something to hurt you and you say it hurt, and they go, "Oh, you're just being sensitive." No, they're just not caring.
Thank you. You see why I love her? And I'm so happy I get to, like, get a hug on the podcast because, like,
That's cute.
yeah, I love you so
I
much.
love you
I'm
too.
trying to get her to start her own podcast because, like,
I
just
might do this.
yes.
I've been like recently been feeling called to share because I've always been a bit of a speaker. Even when I was young, I normally would want to be the leader or talk, or like I like to sing, I like to dance, I like to perform. But it's like sometimes certain people will resonate with someone, and we don't get to choose who we resonate with. We don't get to know what's going to help someone. And even like when someone's teaching something, you could be taught the same thing a dozen times, but one person says it in a voice that clicks. And it's like, I feel like sometimes we're called to speak because our voice can reach someone. And even if it just helps a couple people, that's always a good thing. I think at the end of the day, for me, I always like to leave a better impact than when I went somewhere. Like if I am going through something, if I can make someone else's day just a little better, I feel good.
You do that on the date. I get to witness this as well, and obviously, like, she's you guys just witnessed how she makes my life better. So, thank you so
Thank you.
much because you just talked about how, like, in puberty, like, that age, I blocked that time out of my life.
Well, reading these
Yeah.
questions, I kind of went back into some things like, when did I feel strong? When did I stop
Mm,
feeling strong? What challenged? Because when I was talking about my definition of strength, I don't know if it's the same definition everyone have, but it's literally the adaptability, the resilience, the inner core of knowing, hey, someone's got to do this. It could be me today. That's kind of strength to me. So when I was young, I mean, it could be the body I was put in. Like I legitimately at 5 was the size of a 9-year-old. So I always looked people in the eye. I've never had to feel small. Even my teachers were smaller than me by 6th grade. So unless it was an adult, I never felt at all intimidated by other people until it became the mental and emotional intimidation of high school. And that kind of changed things a little for me. But then it was also challenging my understanding of strength because when I was young, when I even talked about kids, this is what got me thinking of that, was when I was young, I had a very stereotypical mindset of strength. Oh, you're faster, you're stronger. I my cousins, I used to wrestle with them and I always won until I was 13. And when I couldn't win anymore, it did kind of shake me a little. I was like, ooh, am I still strong? It made me a little insecure when I wasn't the tallest and the strongest person in the room anymore. Made me question who I was. So when we were talking about strength, I'm like, well, I obviously felt strong because of certain elements about me. But at the same time, we all question our strength at some point. Some people might question their strength sooner than others. But when we have to start to question ourselves, I think the measure of strength is, do you adapt? Do you grow? Do you challenge it? Because you can have a mindset, and that goes back to the stubbornness. You can put yourself in a box and you can decide, oh, I can't do something. But the second you tell yourself you can do it, if there are physical limitations, yeah, but you can always become physically stronger and work towards a goal. And mentally strong is just every day pushing a little bit. And then when something happens, you go, oh, no one else is acting. It's my turn to act.
but you just said put yourself in a box. Y'all don't have to comment, but how many of us have put ourselves in our own box? And that's so like I've done it, and it's just like like what was I thinking? Again, I think I like looking back at the past and like the environments I grew up in, it was like, "Oh, okay, like that's why." But
Sometimes
again,
it's a survival skill.
exactly.
Sometimes like when we talked about stubbornness and rigidness, sometimes if you're in a chaotic situation where voicing yourself can get you hurt when you're young, that's going to impact your ability to speak out. Like we all had, no, I don't think we all have, but a lot of people have had times in their life where they walk on eggshells, where they're worried of the reaction, where you have to adjust your behavior because you know this person is going to act in a way that's going to make things difficult for you. And you can adapt in many ways. And sometimes putting yourself in the box might be adapting, but then you have to know and discern when it's time to believe that. And that's part of growing. I think we all, not all of us have childhood trauma, but a lot of us have childhood trauma.
Mm,
And I think most people have a little bit. So learning when to shed those shells,
yeah.
it's kind of like a hermit crab. I hadn't thought of this before, but it's like you're in a little shell. You got to find something bigger at some point.
Ooh, I like that. But again, I think to that point, for me, what's helping me like grow and become stronger and more confident is I changed my environment. Like
Yes,
I left, and again, I know not everyone like has the means to change,
that's true.
but even the internet, like, I mean, y'all found this podcast. So
Yes.
you're smart, you're doing something right. But like I think even online, kind of immersing myself around
Yes.
goodness and like the way I filter, I'm like, nope, don't want this, don't want to see this, not
Choosing what
interested.
touches your energy is so important.
I love that.
Because everything leaves something on you, like whether you see it or know it, everything you allow into your space, and some things just force themselves in. You can't do anything about that. But like you're saying, you're choosing what you read and learn. You're curating the life you want. You're deciding the voices that will either put a negative thing in the back of your head or tell you, hey, to be strong today, all you have to do is step up before someone else does and show that you could do it
Exactly.
because we all can. Like, for example, I used to have horrible panic attacks, and it used to confuse me that I would sometimes faint because I was anxious. But when a lady fell over in the street, I automatically went in front of her, directed traffic around her, and didn't let anyone hit her. And she was like an old lady, like a senior, and it just, no one else was standing in front of her, and I didn't know if the cars would see her. It was a dark evening. It's like I fainted going to get coffee at that time. I was having horrible anxiety, like horrible anxiety. But if something bad happened, it was like that person needs me. And I can be strong for others often before I can be strong for myself. That is something I struggle with to this day. It's like if I see someone needs something, I can go, I need to do this. No one else is doing it. It's me today.
Mm,
And like, I wish I could do that for myself more. But it's also you choose if the voice in the back of your head tells you I can't or I can. And the things you choose to interact with will dictate what your critic is like.
ooh, yes, that's so true. We don't stand up for ourselves and we don't think we're strong, but we'll be strong for other people. And I think that that happens because, well, I know for me, like there was a point in time where I didn't like myself as much as I do now. Again, I love me, like this camera, this light, anyways. But yeah, I think like I don't know, and maybe it feels good to like be there for others because then you usually get thanked and get compliments, and that's good for the soul. But yeah, I don't know. Like, why do you think we struggle with ourselves?
I think with ourselves, we have had to look at ourselves in the mirror on our good days and our worst days. And sometimes when we think about our worst days, we don't always feel like we deserve what we give others. Like, I know when I felt bad about myself, I felt like I don't deserve this. And there's a lacking there in what I wish I wanted for myself at that time. And I find that as I've grown and I've flexed these muscles more, it's realizing, hey, if I can show up for this person, like when my grandma was ill, I used to go to the hospital with her every time she was sick. I would talk to the doctors, but talking to my doctor about my injuries, it is hard for me. It's like, well, how come I get doctor's notes for my mom, my grandma, and my friend, but when it's me, I freeze. And it's like, well, it's deciding, hey, if I can be strong for them, I don't deserve to be hurting. I need to get my doctor to understand what I'm feeling. And it's a matter of being, hey, I've flexed that muscle before, do it again, but do it for me this time.
That's so true because I've gone through it where, again, with like getting people on the podcast, I have to send a lot of emails. I have to ask, and sometimes there were some days where I like literally like just can't send it, and I'm trying to tell myself, "Girl, you've done it before. How many episodes have I done?" I'm like, "No, you've done it. People have said yes before. Keep going." But I mean, again, we all have our days. Like some days are good, some days are bad, but yeah, you can take a break, right? Like
Yeah, oh, exactly.
there's strength in resting.
Well, you need to. You need to give yourself a chance to recharge. But it's also, when is it my turn to break? We all have a turn to when someone else can be strong. Like sometimes when I've questioned my strength, I've been like, I'm going to have a breakdown. One more thing happens. But then I go somewhere and the other person is crying and they're having a really horrible time and they're like your best friend and you don't want to see them hurting. And all of a sudden, you were going to break that day, but you realize it's not my turn to break today. She needs me more right. And it's kind of then when the day is done, going, hey, look what you just did. You thought you were going to break today. You told yourself before you left the house, you can't do it and you can't handle this anymore. But you know what? You level it up. You rose to the occasion. And guess what? You rose to the occasion that other time too. And all of a sudden, you look at yourself and you don't feel like breaking anymore because you realize, look at all the times when you wanted to break, you rose to the occasion. You pushed the limit and you kept going. And look at the track record of every time something's hard, you are weathering that storm and you get through it every time. So sometimes now, when I have that moment, and this is something that's only been happening for the past couple of years, I'll be like, I want to break today. I'm going to break down. I can't do it. And then I'm like, well, no, last time you felt that way, remember what happened? You just channeled that and you got through it like you always get through it. So now I'm preemptively, when I feel overwhelmed, telling myself, I don't have to feel overwhelmed. Did I do this last time? Yeah. So why are we telling ourselves we can't today?
That's wow. Why are we telling ourselves we can't today? That's the soundbite. I feel like that's it. Like, yeah, why? I mean, I don't know. Again, I think it's like deep rooted insecurities and things, but again, we're breaking those chains. We're not doing that anymore. And I love what you said, but also I think there's strength in asking for help.
This is true too.
Yeah.
Learning to know where you have your strong points and where your weaknesses are, and then going to someone and seeing what they can do and being like, hey, this is something I have trouble with. Can you help me with this? And I've been doing that more in the past couple of years too. Like I'll reach out to friends and I'll want their opinions on things. Whereas in the past, I've isolated. I was a big isolator and I've worked really hard on not isolating as much because there is something about community. We are pack animals. We are not supposed to be alone. We all have energy and we're supposed to share it.
Yeah. And then I also think like no matter what I'm going through, someone else has already been through it.
Very true.
And again, just like you were saying, well, I've done it before, I can do it again. Also, this person has done it and this person has done it. Maybe they've done it in different ways. And like I can learn from them and like take some things to yeah, make myself stronger. It's all I love that. It's all about community.
I think since I've started isolating less, it's really helped me to like hear your points of view or other people I know's points of view. Because when you guys tell me things, it like resonates. I can hear things that I'm not seeing. They're a blind spot for me. And having someone else who's done it differently and knows what like maybe I'm not seeing.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. But I do think that there is like beauty in isolation. Because again, like with community, you gotta be with the right community and the
That's
right
true.
people. Like I hope we've made that clear. And again, just like kind of I think when you're alone, maybe not isolating, I don't
Yeah,
know,
I
but
think
just like
taking time to
medit
recharge and isolating are different. I feel like taking time to recharge is a gift to yourself, whereas isolating is you cutting yourself loose because you don't want to impact others. At least for me, it is. Whenever I go into isolation mode, it's because I literally don't want my negativity to impact anyone around me. So I will completely isolate and be like, okay, we're gonna like get through this. I don't know how we're doing it. We're gonna do it this time.
but that's crazy that you said you're worried about your negativity, like going on other people when I was like, but their positivity could go on you.
I need to think about it more that way, but I have been more the past few years. The past few years, like for example, my mother had cancer last year. She is 1 year cancer free right now. I started to isolate a little bit, and then I really quickly realized I needed my people. I needed my community. I needed these hugs, and I needed like strength from others to like on a day where I was doubting what the world would look like later. I needed someone to tell me it's going to be okay. Because like when I would isolate, if I isolate, it gets really bad for me. So it's much better that I reach out to people, and I've been flexing that muscle a little more too.
No, that's great because I mean that was gonna be my next question. Like when you feel weak, what do you do to feel strong? Because I think like you, I have like my tribe of people and she's a tribe. But also, like I said, I kind of will go, I have certain like songs that I go to or certain movies and TV shows that I just feel like uplift me. And there's like other podcasts and talk shows where they They just talk about goodness, or I hear how other people have overcame, and I'm like, yes, get in the goodness, and that fills me up. But yeah, what about you?
I think because I do isolate, a lot of it is done internally. I argue with that negative talk in my brain for a little bit. It's like it will be saying something can't be done, and it will be okay, but we have to do it. There's no
Mhm.
options. It has to be done. Like this is what needed. What is needed has to happen. So how am I going to do that? And it's often a lot of internal argument, but then it's reminding myself, hey, what about last time? And as soon as that little hey, what about last time comes up, I can plug back into my community because as soon as I remind myself what happened last time, I then go, it wasn't as bad as I'm making it out to be. Then it's if my negativity isn't going to hurt anybody else. I can be around them and they're going to probably pull me up a little bit. And I really like to reach out to people now instead. Like that's one thing that I find strength in is like talking to people who love me because I know that they're going to set me straight when I'm kind of spiraling. And also nature. Nature for me is huge. I live near the ocean and I find that listening to the waves, walking, looking at your feet on the ground, and realizing for thousands of years, someone's feet walked on gravel and dirt just like this, and they overcame whatever the hell was thrown at them. That might have been a lot harder than what you're dealing with today. And just realizing you're human, it's going to be hard sometimes. And kind of like, I make myself smaller so I can see the big picture. And that normally helps me. I try and look at the big picture instead of being so focused on what's bothering me.
Yeah.
And that helps me find strength.
Because what I heard was you make yourself smaller to then become like bigger, but not like big headed, but like
It's more like
or
the bird's eye view.
yeah.
Like you're there, you're taking you and like when I have, I guess it's kind of meditation when I go for these walks, especially in the summer. If you're like in your flip flops, you can really look at your feet on the ground and just realize someone's walked here before.
Mhm.
And when you stop thinking about it being the end of the world, whatever situation you're in, because the world didn't end, people kept walking. You're here because they were here first. We got to now, and we can get through whatever's coming towards us. We always have before, and just kind of seeing ourselves as just a human, not in a bad way, but that we can make mistakes and we can not always have the answer. But if we keep going, keep walking, if we breathe, if we call our friends, we can figure it out.
Yay. I love that so much. And again, like I feel like we're talking about strength in such a positive way. But then I don't know if you've seen like I don't know how recent it's been, but like for movies and things, they'll have the strong female lead. And some people have kind of taken offense to that. I mean, do you feel any ways about the
Well,
strong female lead? Like why?
when I read that question, you also said, does it make the other characters weak females? And what we have to think about when we think about art and we think about film and we think about stories and the stories that are chosen to be told, women traditionally are the supporting character. They are not the main character. And when you think about that, even the fact that male roles always get more lines, that's always, you can look at the statistics. So all of a sudden, we have stories where the woman is the lead, which what is the main character? They're always showing their strength. That is what every main character story often tells you. If it's not a comedy, it's about the human condition and it's a story of strength. So to say that the strong female lead makes the other characters weak females, that is inaccurate because if we had made them the main character, we would have seen their strength, but they weren't posed to be strong. They were written and created to be background. They were written and created to support and be background. So if you look at a supporting role and a background character and go, they must all be weak because this is a strong female lead, there's a flaw in how you're looking at it because the woman's voice was never said before. They were just background. So if you had taken and rewrote any of these movies and made them the main character, they probably would have been a strong female character too. And that goes for male roles as well. When you have the supporting roles, if you flipped it and made the main character the background character, it's whoever's story you're telling
Yeah.
is the one that seems strong.
I love that. But then also I'm thinking like if you're the supporting, the strong one has to support on you, so you gotta be strong too. Like,
That's exactly why if they told your story, if they told the supporting role's story, they would be just as strong as the main character, the strong female or the lead male role. It's always which story you're choosing to tell and the perspective you're showcasing.
well, 'cause I like that, and I think Hollywood gets it wrong because usually when they say strong female lead, it's just a girl fighting. And like, okay, cool. I like to see that, but I like to see other stories too. Like, I love Cinderella. And there's some people on the internet who say that she's weak. She is not. She is strong. She's like
She's
so
resilient
strong.
and flexible. She
Yes.
went through decades of abuse, the loss of a father, people gaslighting her and trying to ruin her life, and she still was seeing hope and optimism. That is resilience. Resilience is strength. So we have a lot of people who want to do stereotypes, and it's like, oh, she's wearing the fluffy dress, she's singing to the animals, she's dancing around, but
Cooking and cleaning. I
as
think
if that
that's
doesn't take strength
it does.
and
'Cause
planning.
like the way I don't want to clean, that really takes a lot of strength for me.
I think if you were to look at most people, one of the hardest things to do, unless you're someone who is very organized,
Oh,
one of the hardest things to get yourself to do is those dishes that are sitting in the sink. Putting away things can be daunting at times.
awesome.
And it's the extra support. It's the supporting role that has to do all the hard grunt work.
No, because let's talk about that. Like, I think even in companies, like you'll see the CEO or whoever like standing up giving the speech. But I'm like, there's so many people behind that person
Oh,
that
thousands.
help them get there. So I just don't understand. And like there's some people who when they win trophies, they'll be like, oh, I'm so proud. Like I did it. And I like, yes, she did do a lot, but also who gave you the opportunity? Who taught you?
Opportunity
Who
is
like
so much in life. And teachers, if you don't
yeah.
have those things, if you look at the people in the world, there are people who have a natural aptitude towards things who never get a shot.
Yeah, right here. No, but because I'm still waiting. It's
You're finding
coming,
your shot.
but yeah,
You're
thank
shooting your
you.
shot right now.
Oh, score! But no, like that's so true, and like I really do. I don't know, like my heart goes out to just people everywhere who feel like they don't have a shot or don't know how to make it. Like again, once I make it, y'all coming up with me. You know what I mean? Like just
And you
help
work hard.
others.
You work so hard.
I
And
try.
the thing is, anyone who's successful, they're going to have to work hard. But working hard does not make you the CEO. Working hard does not make you the pro athlete. Working hard does not make you the actress who gets the leading role. It's all opportunity, timing, and support. Because every one of those persons, they had a moment where they didn't think they could do it. And somebody went, hey,
My God.
you got this. You've done this before. You can do it. Every one of them has someone pull them up when they need a moment.
Oh my gosh. And guys, don't forget, you can be that person to pull by liking and subscribing to this podcast. You can lift us up. But
I love
but
that.
yeah, because I think it is like sometimes I think people get scared of doing something or being the one to take action first because it's like, well, what action? Well, what if they perceive it the wrong way? Well, I don't have money. I'm not a person of status. It's like literally complimenting someone, you look great today
And that's all you need to do to make someone have a better day.
could change their whole life. So again, like you being you, that's amazing in itself, so unique, and the world needs you. Like, I don't know what for. You have to figure that out. You know what you're good at, you know what you're drawn to, and yeah, just go for it. I'm here to support you. She's here to support you.
Yes.
Honestly, but like if you got Sheila on your team, there's nothing you can't do. Okay.
Aw.
I'm gonna say that right now. Like success comes to anyone who loves Sheila. Okay.
Aw.
So if you don't love her, but like yeah, you're amazing. I hope you know that.
I'm learning it. I'm feeling more. At one point, I thought to call myself complimentary things was to seem boastful, like to
Yeah.
seem boastful. But at the same time, recognizing when you've put effort in and you do the things, owning that you've done the things good,
Yeah.
like owning like people can call me amazing because I do things that are worthy of that title. Like I will work hard for the people around me. I will put in extra time. I will show up when other people don't want to show up and I will do my best. And that makes me amazing, in my opinion. Like, I can say that now. Whereas maybe 10 years ago, I wouldn't have said that at all. And I think that's something that we limit ourselves in so much. We tell ourselves, oh, I shouldn't say I'm that, or I can't say that. But in reality, if you don't tell yourself that and no one else is, the other things you tell yourself are going to be all you hear. And being strong is knowing your strong suit. You have to know what you're good at, because that's when you can like know where you want to take action. There's an element of strength where you just take action when it's needed, and that's great. But also knowing, hey, this is what I'm good at, so let me do that. This is what I'm bad at. Have someone else do that. Because I'll tell people, "Nah, I'm not good at that stuff. Like, don't have me do that, but I'll do all these other things."
No, I think that is like the strength in itself, knowing your strengths and weaknesses to know like how to help a team. Well, we've already talked about that. But again, like, I don't know, because do we need to prove our strengths to people if someone perceives us as weak? Is that on us?
I don't feel like we have to prove anything to anyone. There was a time in my life where I felt like we had to prove and show things to people. But at the same time, I've kind of come to realize over time, you cannot make someone think anything they don't think right now. You cannot change someone's perception. They have to change it. So if they already look at you in a way, they've decided that. You could do a million things for someone and they might never change how they think and feel about it.
That's yeah.
Like, they might never. You cannot control how other people see you. And frankly, it's not necessarily my business how other people see me unless I'm doing something that hurts people. So it's like, if they're telling me they think something about me and it's not based on a I hurt them, I didn't hurt them, they saw something that they thought was like hurtful, because I will absolutely want to prove something to when I've made a mistake. But unless I've screwed up, I don't think I've proved anything to anyone.
I love that. And I think I need to like understand that in my core
Oh, I
because
used to exhaust myself trying to prove things to people. It's like, so learning that I could kind of beat my head against the wall 1,000 times over, it's not going to change it. I don't try and prove things to people anymore because you can't. You cannot change what people want to see. If they want to change what they see, they can. And but then it's not you proving it. It's basically them just looking at you with a different lens.
oh, I love that because it's just being authentic. Like I don't have to try to do all these things. I just can be myself. And that's why people say just be you.
Exactly.
Now it's coming together. Because at first it's like, wait, what? How? And I don't know. Because again, I think people would say that when I was younger, but then I felt like I was being myself. And then it's like, oh, well, you're not confident enough. You're too sensitive. You're this and that. And it's like,
But
well,
that's their projections. Like,
Mhm.
they're telling you what you are, but do they know you? Have they walked in your shoes? Do they know everything that's going on? Or are they just taking a little snapshot and deciding this is who Shakiyah is? And then that's their little snapshot of Shakiyah in their mind that they carry forever. And then anytime you do anything that aligns with that, see, look what you were doing there.
like another picture.
But whenever you do anything out of it, they might, one, not even see you do it.
So true. And again, like you just have to kind of have that strength in your core and kind of like know who you are in your
Yeah,
core.
the inner knowing of who you are, because you know who you are. They don't. I wrote a song when I was a teenager that I called Paint Me Perfect, because I had a boyfriend who was always putting me on a pedestal. And it was very stressful to me when I was like 17. And it was like this idea that he has this image of me. And anytime I'm outside of that image, I'm doing something wrong. But it's an idea he has of me. It's not even me.
Well, you
So
didn't even ask for it. Oh man.
but everyone does that. So these people who are judging you for not being confident, well, they might not see confidence the way you see confidence. Just like how we just define strength in this. We talked about adaptability, flexibility, resilience, acting when someone needs something to be done. If you act when something is needed, to me, that's being strong. To other people, strength might be controlling a room.
Mhm.
There are people who think of the world in a more sinister way.
It's not sorry.
Yeah, that's not what I think. But there are people who will think
Yeah.
my idea of flexibility and adaptability, they might see as weakness because you're adapting as opposed to enforcing what you want. So it really depends. Are they a person who sees strength as control? And there are people in the world who see strength as control. I don't see strength as control. I actually see needing to control all the situations as a weakness. I think if you have to control something, you are afraid of it.
Oh, I wasn't ready for that.
Sorry.
Wow. Because I feel like I know some people who like control, and I don't know them that
They're
well.
afraid of adapting. They're
Yeah.
afraid of having to change. Needing to control means you don't want to go outside of your box. Everything has to be exactly how you want it to kind of be your perfect situation. If you can't handle a day that isn't your perfect day, I don't think you're very strong. If you can't handle a day that's not your perfect day, you're not strong, in my opinion.
Okay, I just feel like, I don't know, she's like reading me and kind of like, are you strong?
No, that's not, you know,
Now I have to reflect on these things.
days all the time.
Oh, well, thank
All
you.
the
But
time.
again, like these are just really good.
That was not about you.
No, it's all good. But again, like I
I've
hope
seen you
that
have days that are like completely sideways and you're still smiling and you're still working hard and you're still getting shit done that we need done. And then you're telling me these things are happening. I'm like, wow, that's intense that that's happened. And I'm like, I'm sorry that's happening to you. And then I'll reframe it. What the person is saying is not accurate. Like we were talking about earlier, the gaslighting.
Yeah. Thank you. Again, well, this is why I'm able to
You handle the imperfect days.
Oh, I love you
You
so
adapt
much.
and pivot and grow.
Yeah, and
I think you're very strong.
I love you so much. Like I don't want to cry right now.
I've
so
seen you adapt and pivot. Look at you growing.
we're not
Look at you growing and glowing. Look at you. Look at what you're doing. Okay, I will. I understand.
sorry.
And that's why some people will say no to a podcast. They don't want to talk about themselves.
Yeah. But I think it's good. I think that's everything what we're saying. Like you do need to support people. I think we demonstrated that in this podcast. Like you supported me, giving me compliments and built me up. So now I feel stronger. And I hope I did the same.
Every time I'm having a bad day, you encourage me in ways that I didn't even know I needed that day. Like I could be having the worst day and I'm like just kind of holding this together. And she comes in and she just opens up to me in ways and tells me things that I need to hear right at the moment I need to hear them.
Oh my gosh.
You remind me I'm strong.
Yeah, well, I hope you like don't ever forget, and now you have it
Yeah.
forever and ever. So again, like I say it all the time, even if no one watches podcasts, I did it for me, and I know that I've definitely gained like strength and gotten stronger. And yeah, I mean, I guess wrapping it up, like how would you kind of advice to everyone out there who maybe
Well,
feels weak right now?
I think, especially because we've mentioned people feeling called out. If you felt called out by not being able to handle the perfect day or
This
anything like
number,
that,
no.
remember adaptability, going outside of your comfort zone, all of that is something you could do in little steps. You can exercise resilience just by trying something outside of your normal limits. You can make yourself a little uncomfortable for a second and see, hey, I can handle this. I got this. And the more you show yourself you can do it, the more you're ready to handle something when it comes washing up at you like a wave. Like if you teach yourself in little steps that you can handle stuff, when shit hits the fan, you will handle stuff. I know because that's been me. I've literally felt like I couldn't do anything and I pushed myself. And then when something really bad is happening, I'm like, oh, I guess it's not my day to break today because I need to do this right now. And you just do it. It becomes like a reflex. So just work on that muscle memory of, hey, I stepped out of my comfort zone today. You can do that a little bit every day and you can feel stronger.
Thank you so much. I mean, because while we're on this high, was there like a particular moment where you felt strong that you just want to share and like brag about yourself?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily feel like it's bragging, but we're using for examples of things that feel like strength to me. I think, especially in the world we live in right now, using our voice is strength. If you have a chance to speak and you feel like something is wrong, being the person who has that little thing in the back of your head where you cannot ignore your internal voice saying, hey, this isn't right. And be like, hey, that's not right. Because if one person says it's not right, somebody who's thinking that will think, oh, maybe I should say something too. And at this time, we all have to exercise that strength because we need it more right now than we've ever really needed it. I don't want to go into that stuff, but be a little stronger, say what you think. Don't worry about it ruffling feathers because we're all going to ruffle feathers in life. That's just the nature of being alive. But you can inspire others because if you speak, they're going to go, hey, she or he said something, I can say something. Oh, look, that person stepped up when the lady fell in the street. If something happens, nothing happened to her. You just stand up, you put your arms up, and you go, hey, and you move the traffic around the person. It seems scary, but it's not hard when you're doing it, because a lot of things in life, as soon as you do it, your body just goes. It does it.
That's
It does
so
it for
true.
you.
I love that. Thank you for saying that and for sharing that. And also, you can start using your voice in the comments. So,
Yes.
shameless plug.
Not shameless. It's a wonderful speaking up, supporting
I love
people, supporting other like small businesses, people
Mhm.
trying to grow. If this helped you at all, you should add comments, because then someone else will hear it too.
Yay! Thank you so much. And again, we're just gonna like help more and more people, and we just want to spread like love and positivity and like all that jazz. But my last question is what I like to ask everyone, and I phrase it like this. If you were to lose your voice tomorrow, what's the last thing you want to be heard from?
Oh gosh. Oh gosh, that's really deep, isn't it? Oh, I was not expecting that to.
Sorry.
I just I have someone I love very dearly who's quite ill right now, so I'm thinking about not having her voice, because every time I've had a hard time, it's been her and my mom who I've looked to for that guidance. So if the last thing I said to you was anything, it would be that you can do it. You think you can't do it, but you've done a million things before that were hard. And every other person has done things they thought they couldn't do. So if you tell yourself you can't do something, that is just the fear before you fly through it. You can do it. You got it.
My gosh, mic drop. It's like, I love that. That's gonna be my new logo thing forever. The fear before you fly.
Fear before you fly.
Wow, that's just all that's happening. Like, yeah, next time like I get scared to do something, this is just the fear I have before I fly and like take off because I'm going to new heights.
And you know what else? Excitement and anxiety trigger the same chemicals in your brain. So if you're scared, tell yourself you're excited. You're not going to be scared after that.
Oh,
Reframe it as excitement.
we need a gem count. Every time she speaks, I'm just like gems, gems, gems. I can't thank you enough. I love you so much, and I'm just so happy that you're in my life again. I feel more confident.
'Cause you're a
more
glass
strong, and
box.
yeah, just you're amazing, and never ever forget it. Thanks again.
'Cause you're a glass box.
And thank you all for listening.
Put your gloss on, get your boss on behind the glass.
Mwah.